Yeah. Hare Krishna. So welcome back, all the devotees, for free Bhagavatamrta study class. So we are continuing from last session where we stopped at 4.33. We discussed about Manvantara and Yugavataras, and actually today we are continuing the post Manvantara and Yugatara. We are going to discuss about Avesha and broadly about the various types of avataras, which we discussed in the first chapter. But Rupa Goswami is going to add a few more points to them. Can someone read this? There are 3 slides are there, Lucas. So maybe 3 devotees can recite 1 slide each. 4 to 6 verses in each slide.
Okay, Prabhu. Shall I read, Prabhu? Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mataji.
4.34. Avatarashchaturdasyur Avesha Prabhavapi Ataiva Vaibhava Paravastascha Tatrate. 4.35. Atra Veshavatarastu Nyeyaha Purvokta Ititaha Yatha Kumara Devashi Venanga Prabhavadhayah. 4.36. Yatha Padme Avishto Bhut Kumarishu Naradaye cha Hari Pibuhu. 4.37. Yatha Tatraiva Navivesha Pritum Deva Shanki Chakri Chaturbhujaha. 4.38. Avishto Bhargave Chapud Iti Tatraiva Kititam. 4.39. Tata hi yetam te katitam devi jhamadagne mahatmanah shaktya veshavatarasya charitam sarkina prabhoti. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, somebody else can take these 6 slokas.
Shall I try, Prabhuji?
Yes, ma'am.
Text 40. Ave satvam kalkino api Vishnu dharme vilokyate. Text 41. Yatha pratyaks rupa dhrugadevo drushyate na kalau hari krutadisviva taneva triyuga paripathyate. Text 42. Kalerante cha samprapte kalkinam brahmavadinam anupravishya kurute vasudeva jagasthitam. Text 43. Purvotpannesu bhutesu tesu kalau prabhu krutva pravesam kurute yada vipretamatmanam. Text 44. Atomi swa avtaram tvam param syadopacharikam. Text 45. Atha prabhava vaibhavaha hari swarupa rupaye paravastebhya unaka saktinam taratamyena kramate tad dakhyaka. Text 46. Okay. Someone or
Will someone read?
Shall I try, Prabhuji? Hare Krishna. Shall I read, Prabhuji?
Yes, ma'am.
The text number 4.46. Prabhavascha dvida tatra drishyante shastra chakshusa ekanati chira vyakta nati vistrutta kirtayaha ते मोहिं च हंसश्च शुक्लादश्च युगानुगः 4.47 अपरे शास्त्रकर्तारः प्रयाशुर्मुनिचे स्थितः धन्वन्तरी ऋषभो व्यासो दत्तश्च कपिलश्च ते 4.48 to 49 अतास्युर्वैभवस्तस्ते चाकुर्मोजिसादिभा नारायणो नरशका श्रीवराह हयाननौ कृष्णिगर्भा प्रलम्बाग्नो यज्ञाद्यश्च चतुर्दशा इति अमी वैभवस्ता एकविंशतिर्यिरितः हरे कृष्ण. Thank you.
Yeah. Last sentence.
For 4.50 and 51 तत्र क्रोधाहया ग्रीवो नया नवव्यूहान्तरोदितौ चत्वारा प्रवरस्तथा मन्वन्तरावतारेषु ते तु श्रीहरिवैकुण्ठौ तथैव जितवामनौ सदमी वैभवस्तः परवस्तोपमतः.
Thank you, Mataji, for reciting the slokas. So we are discussing, we just concluded last time Manvantara and Yugavataras. This is same chapter. Chapter name is same Manvantara and Yugavataras, but we are further discussing about different kinds of incarnations and how these Manvantara, where this Manvantara and Yugavataras will fit into this overall scheme of incarnations of the Lord. So that part also we will discuss today. And today's topic is a bit technical, but we'll go slowly and we'll try to discuss wherever you have doubts. We can discuss at the end. We have 15-20 minutes. We'll keep for a discussion. So we discussed about the different kinds of incarnations by the Lord in the very first chapter of Laghu Bhagavatamrta. We saw that there is a Swayam Rupa, then further expanded to Tadekatma Rupa and Avesha, and Tadekatma Rupa further expands. So all those things we discussed, and it is kind of a recap. At the end of this these slides, we'll have one chart which gives the overall understanding of what we studied before and what we are studying today. So in a nutshell, to summarize the incarnations are of 4 kinds. So they are Avesha incarnation, Prabhava incarnation, Vaibhava incarnation, Vaibhava Avastha, Paravastha. So these are the 4 kinds of incarnations Lord takes when he comes to this material world. As we know very well that incarnation, the meaning of incarnation itself indicates that he is coming from one level to another level, like a spiritual to material world, when he is coming. That is considered incarnation. When he expands into a different form, that is not incarnation, that is only expansion. Like within the spiritual world, there are some expansions are there that will not come under the incarnation, that will be counted as expansions. So the incarnations, there are four kinds of incarnations which we discussed before also. So now here next this verse and next verse, couple of verses, Rupa Goswami is discussing about Avesha incarnations. This also we discussed in detail, but he's adding few more technical points about this Avesha incarnations in this chapter. So the Avesha incarnation can be known according to the characteristics specified earlier in chapter 1, 18 and 19 slokas. So yeah. So there are examples. We discussed that the 4 Kumaras, Devarshi Narada, Prithu, was born from the body of Vena. So these are the Avesha incarnations. So what exactly is Avesha? Avesha incarnation is the person who is considered as Avesha incarnation is actually a jiva, Lord empowers him. Lord enters or Lord sends his potency into him. So sometimes it is mentioned in the scriptures that Lord enters into such and such a body. So it is not that Lord exactly enters, but he sends his potency into his the Jiva's body and makes him competent to perform the task which Lord wanted to do. So that is the Avesh incarnation. So it is explained that now Avesh incarnations are imbued with the portions of Supreme Lord's various potencies. So, like in case of four Kumaras, they have transcendental knowledge was imbibed by the Lord into these four Kumaras, and Narada with the power of devotion, and Prithu with the power to rule. So, Prithu Maharaja. So, three examples are given here. So, each one was given a specific potency. Sometimes more than one potency is imbibed by the Lord into that jiva. So, it is possible. So, but the point here is that Lord is not personally coming, but he sends his incarnate, his potency into that jiva. So in verse 36, 37, and 38, so these three slokas, it says that as Padma Purana states, the Almighty Lord Hari imparted his potencies to the Avesh incarnations, Narada and Kumaras. So this is what we discussed, that Narada was given the potency of devotion, and Kumaras was given the potency of transcendental knowledge. So when Lord sends his unlimited potency, any specific or multiple potency into a jiva, or he imbibes into that, or if you can say it, he empowering them to master into that, and he gives authority for them to deal with on such topic. So like Narada is empowered or is authorized to deal with the topic of giving the devotional knowledge to the others. So Narada is also called, we know that Narada is also called the deliverer of Narayana, deliverer of the Lord. So means he is not delivering the Lord, but he delivers the Lord to the jivas. So that potency is coming from the Lord. So that's why he is considered as an Avesha incarnation. So he gets that authority. And also in Padma Purana, the four-armed Lord who holds a conch and wields a disc entered King Prithu with his potency. So this is what I said. So when he say entered into King Prithu, it doesn't mean that Lord is entering physically into the body of King Prithu, but he sends his potency into the body of Prithu Maharaj and empowering him to rule the total whole earth. So that otherwise it is not possible for any person to rule uh, such a effectively like King Prithu. So this is only because of empowerment by the Supreme Lord that happens. And also in the Purana, so the Padma Purana, Supreme Lord empowered Bhargava, the Parshuram. So likewise, Parshuram was given that empowerment of he kills the Kshatriyas 21 times. No, he annihilates all the Kshatriyas who were misusing their power, and he established the dharma. So that power was given by the Lord to Parshuram. So that is in 38 verse. In 39, 40, and 41, we see that thus I have told you, dear goddess, about the activities of Jamadagni's son, that great soul who was Shakti Avesha incarnation of Lord Sarangi. So this is we are talking about the Parshuram's incarnation. So this is also given in Padma Purana, and in verse 40, it is seen in the Vishnu Dharmottara Purana that Lord Kalki is also an Avesha incarnation. So that also is explained in Vishnu Dharmottara Purana, that even Kalki is also an Avesha incarnation. So in verse 41, it is mentioned that the Supreme Lord Hari manifests his own form in the three ages, beginning with Satyuga, but not in Kali Yuga. Thus, he is called Tri Yuga. So the statement, this is taken from Vishnu Dharmottara Purana. It does not indicate that Lord Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu does not manifest his own form in Kali Yuga. We all know that he is considered as hidden incarnation. So about his specific appearance is not mentioned in this particular Purana, Vishnu Dharma Purana, but it is mentioned in several other Puranas in a very hidden way. So usually the avatara for Kali Yuga is specifically appointed a Jiva, who according to Smriti Shastra generally has a blackish complexion. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, however, appears in just one specific Kali Yuga out of thousands in each day of Brahma. He is a Pitavarna form of the original Supreme Lord mentioned by Garga Muni. So when he descends, the Krishna Varna Avesha incarnation of Kali Yuga unites with him. So usually every Kali Yuga, the Krishna Varna Lord appears in a darkish complexion, not a Shama. Shama is in Dwapar Yuga, but in Kali Yuga he comes in a Krishna Varna. So it's a blackish form. So when Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appears, that particular incarnation unites with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So it happens in very rarely. Very, as it mentioned here, that appears in one specific Kali Yuga out of 1,000 in each day of Brahma. So very, very rare appearance of the Lord in Kali Yuga in a Pita form. Otherwise, every Kali Yuga he comes as in a dark blackish form. So in this particular Kali Yuga, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appears, so these two gets united. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he comes, the Pita, the blackish form, Krishna form, is united with him, and he comes as a Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So in the Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhyalila, Gopinath Acharya explained to Sarvam Bhattacharya why Shastra says Supreme Lord incarnates in only 3 of 4 yugas. So this detailed explanation is given in Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhyalila. So the same that Lord in a fourth yuga, the fourth form in Kali Yuga, that is a hidden incarnation. That's why only 3 incarnations were mentioned in scriptures. So that is in 41. In 42, at the end of Kali Yuga, Lord Vasudeva enters Kalki, a devotee of absolute truth, to maintain the universal order. During Kali Yuga, the Supreme Lord fulfills his purposes by entering various living beings who have already been born. To conclude, the Avesha are considered as surrogate avataras. So we all know, like in today Kali Yuga, we have surrogate mother, where without a mother and father uniting, the child is born by putting that fetus into the womb of another mother. The same concept here, the author used the word surrogate. The Lord actually he enters his potency into the body of the Jiva. So that particular incarnation is called Avesha incarnation. So here this 2 verses is explained about Kalki Avatara. So Kalki is a devotee of a Lord, Supreme Lord, and his purpose of appearance is to maintain universal order. So that particular incarnation is actually a Jiva. So this is Avesha incarnation, and Lord empowers that Jiva, the devotee, and then he establishes the universal order in Kali Yuga, at the end of Kali Yuga, and it completely he annihilates the whole creation. So here in verse 43, it is mentioned that during Kali Yuga, Supreme Lord fulfills his purposes by entering various living beings who have already been born. So not only the Kalki, but also here hint is given that Supreme Lord may empower so many other jivas also, entering various living beings who have already been born. So means already being born means here they're talking, author is talking about the jivas. Jiva, when he takes birth in this material world, he accepts a particular body in this material world. Then Lord empowers, after taking birth of that particular jiva, the Lord empowers them to perform a specific activity as he proposes. So it is not necessarily not only the Kalki, but in this verse it is hinted that Lord may empower so many other living beings also. So that is in verse 43 it is mentioned. So in verse 45, next, this is an important topic where we are going to spend little time. So next, the Prabhava and Vaibhava incarnation. The Vaibhava and Prabhava forms of the Lord Hari exhibit progressively less potency than Para Avastha forms. Now the question may come, what is Para Avastha form, which we have not discussed before, because uh, we discussed only about Swayam Rupa, and we discussed about Swamsa, and we discussed about Tadekatma Rupa. But what is this Paravastha form? So, which I'll explain in the next slide, the last slide, when we see that slide in the graphical, the picture we discussed there. So the Prabhava incarnations are further divided into two categories as revealed by the scriptures. One kind does not remain manifest for very long and does not again much renown. So this kind includes Mohini and Hamsa as well as Shukla and other Yuga incarnations. So in Prabhava incarnation, so we'll go to that. Yeah, this is a slide I'm talking about. Yeah. So we all know that Lord Swayam Rupa expands into Tadekatma Rupa and Avesha incarnation. That Swayam Rupa is further is not expanded, but it is non-different from Swayam Rupa, is a Prakasha expansions. So here, this Prakasha expansions, if you try to recollect, it is a two different kinds, Prabhava Prakasha and Vaibhava Prakasha. So Prabhava Prakasha is this particular Prakasha expansion is it is not a separate expansion. Lord is not taking a different expansion, but Lord is expanding himself into different forms. So likewise, if you remember the rasa dance of the Lord and the Lord's presence with the different queens, so he is not taking an incarnation here. He is not appearing. He is not taking any other expansion for any different purposes. So he is the Lord himself. He is dividing himself into different forms, and he is there with all the gopis at the same time. So that is a Prakasha expansion. So in the Prakasha expansion, Prabhava Prakasha is where we saw this example of Lords expanding into various forms and be there with the gopis at the same time, and also with the queens of Dwaraka. So there is these forms, these expansions are not different from each other. And another Vaibhava Prakasha is the expansion with the different emotions. So it is the same Lord, but he expands with the different emotions and different bodily features. So again, there is no difference between the Lord and that particular expansion. So here example is given about Balram. So Balram is non-different from the Lord, but he is a different emotion. The mood is different. The mood of Balram is say a service mood, servant mode. He wants to serve the Lord. So, but he has a different bodily features, but he is non-different. So this Vaibhava Prakasha also part of the Prakasha expansion. Prakasha expansion is exactly the same Lord. It is not a different incarnation or any different expansion, but it is non-different. So that is Prakasha. We'll keep that aside. Now today's discussion, this particular Prabhava and Vaibhava incarnation in this verse 45, what is mentioned, it is not on the Prakasha form. That is comes under Vilasa expansion. So that is again breakdown from the Tadekatma Rupa. Tad Ekatma Rupa. That Tadekatma Rupa means it is not much difference in bodily feature. These are same Ek Atma. It is the same Lord, but he expands with a slightly different bodily features and slightly different potencies. So that comes under Tadekatma Rupa. So Tadekatma Rupa, if we recollect, that is divided into two categories: Vilasa expansions and Swamsa expansions. So Vilasa expansions is what today we are discussing, Prabhava Vilasa and Vaibhava Vilasa. So in this particular sloka, this particular sloka, here Prabhava incarnations are divided into two categories as revealed by the scriptures. One kind does not remain manifest for very long. So we saw the Prabhava incarnations here. It comes under Vilasa expansion. Vilasa expansion is a different bodily features, but almost equal powers, like Swayamrupa. But within that Vilasa expansion, the two categories, Prabhava Vilasa and Vaibhava Vilasa. So Prabhava Vilasa has again two different categories. So one is a temporary and less known personalities. So here example is given about Mohini Murti. Mohini Murti is Mohini incarnation is temporary. It is not that that particular expansion has an abode in the spiritual world. So this expansion is very, very temporary and for a specific purpose. And the glories of this expansion was less known. So it is not much discussed or explained in the Shastras. The example is given here is a Mohini Murti. The second type of Prabhava Vilasa is sages who compile the scriptures. So that is what it is explained in the this sloka in verse 44, 45, sorry, 40, 45, 46. Yeah, it is 46, 45 and 46, 47. So in 46, it explained Prabhava incarnation divided two categories as revealed by the scriptures. One kind does not remain manifest for very long and does not gain much renown. This kind includes Mohini and Hamsa as well as Shukla and other Yuga incarnations. So they are less famous personalities. Short-term incarnation include other three Yuga avatars. So the category here is mentioned is, if you see, less temporary, less known incarnations are Mohini, Hamsa, and 4 Yuga avatars. So total 6 incarnations. So they are Mohini incarnation and Hamsa incarnation and 4 Yuga avatars. 4 Yuga avatars we discussed in the previous class also. Each Yuga he appears in a different color. So that is those Yuga avatars are considered as temporary and less known. So these comes under Prabhava Vilasa and the first category. The Prabhava Vilasa second category, they are the sages to compile scriptures. There are 5 different categories, 5 different expansions or incarnations were mentioned under second category of Prabhava Vilasa. They also come for a specific purpose, but their presence is a bit longer than the first category, which are temporary and less known. They lead their full life in this material world. So usual as a human being, when he appears in this material world, how long he will be there. So the same life this particular incarnation will be there in this material world. The examples given in this for the second category are Dhanvantari, Rishabhadev, Vyasadev, Dattatreya, and Lord Kapila. So these are the 5 incarnations. They are called second category of Prabhava Vilasa. So that is explained in verse 47. So here, if you see verse 47, it is explained that the other kind of Prabhava incarnation compiles scriptures. Their purpose is to compile the scriptures and act in the role of a sage. So it means that he is going to preach something to others or to people in this material world. So he comes with a very specific purpose of preaching and also writing, compiling the scriptures. So the examples given, there are five types of, not 5 types, 5 incarnations under this second category. They are Dhanvantari, Rishabhadev, Vyasadev, Dattatreya, and Kapila, Lord Kapila. So that is verse 47. In verse 48, this is also an interesting point. In verse 48, it is explained that the following 21 incarnations are considered Vaibhava Avastha. What is Avastha here? Avastha means that is situation, the state of particular, like a Balya Avastha So Yavana Avastha. So the Avastha means the particular stage. So here Vaibhava Avastha or Vaibhava incarnation, there are 21 Vaibhava incarnations prescribed or mentioned in the Shastras. So what are the 21 that we see here, mentioned here? Kurmavatara, the Matsya Avatara, Naranarayana, Varaha, Hayagriva or Hayasirsha, and the killer of Pralamba. Who is killer of Pralamba? Here, killer of Pralamba, it is mentioned as Balram. So one may ask question, Balram was mentioned as a in the Swayam, under Swayam Rupa only. So how come he is considered as a Vaibhava Avastha here? So when he comes into this material world, he incarnates into this material world, he is considered as Vaibhava Avastha, Vaibhava Vilasa. And when he expands in the spiritual world, he is considered as a Swayam Rupa. So under Swayam Rupa, Prakasha form. So that is the first category we saw. So we will see here again next slide. So the killer of Pralamba is Balram here, and the 14 incarnations beginning with Yagna. So these are the 14 Manvantara incarnations. They are counted as part of Vaibhava Vilasa expansions. So if you see the chart, then we'll have more clarity. So these are the 21 Vaibhava Vilasa expansions. So Kurma, Matsya, Naranarayana, Varaha, Hayasirsha, Krishnigarbha, killer of Pralamba, and 14 Manvantara incarnations. That is starting from Yagna, Vibhu, Satyasena, Hari, Vaikunta, Ajita, Vamana, Swarobhoma, Vishabhadeva, Vishwaksena, Dharmasetu, Udhama, Yogeshwara, and Bhanu. So these 14 Manvantara incarnations we discussed very long till last week. So these 14 plus the 5 highlighted mentioned in this together are 14 plus 7 rather. Total 21 incarnations were considered as Vaibhava incarnations. So these are considered as Vaibhava incarnations, Vaibhava Vilasa. So in verse 50 and 51, 50 and 51, among the Vaibhava Avastha incarnation, the following 6 are considered almost equal to the Lord in Para Avastha form. Now, what is the Para Avastha form? Para Avastha form is, Para means, this is, Para Avastha is supreme state. This is a spiritual, like when Lord appears in this material world in his original form, when he comes in his original form, that is a Para Avastha. So the Lord Krishna's form, when he appears in this material world, that is the original form, but his incarnation, again, he is a Paravastha. So he is a Swayam Rupa also, and also he is also called Paravastha. Paravastha is the supreme state, or is the same personality. So in Vaibhava Avastha incarnation, the following 6 are considered almost equal to the Lord in his Para Avastha forms. So here the 6 Vaibhava Avastha incarnations were given. Varaha, Hayagriva, who are mentioned among the 9 Vyuhas, plus the 4 greatest Manvantara avatars, namely Srihari, Vaikunta, Ajita, and Vamana. These 6. So if you see this chart again, so we'll know clearly. If you see under 21, the down, I highlighted the red color, Varaha, Hayasirsha, Hari, Vaikunta, Ajita, and Vamana. So these 6. So means 2 from the other incarnations and 4 from the Manvantara incarnations. These are the original personalities mentioned here, that they're considered as almost equal to the Lord in his Para Avastha form. So they equal means they have the same potency of the Para Avastha form. So these are the only 6 personalities. All others are they carry the partial or less potency compared to like Kurma, Matsya, Naranarayana, Prishnigarbha, even Balram also when he comes in this material world, and other 10 Manvantara incarnation, they are not carrying the same potency of Para Avastha forms. So only these 6 were carrying the exactly same potency of Paravastha form. That is Paravastha, as I said, it is Para means, like if you remember para, apara, we discussed. Para means spiritual, supreme, transcendental. Apara means which is in this material world. So para, which is not para, is apara. So para here is the spiritual state, the original state, which is Swayam Rupa. So when Lord appears in this material world, when he comes as he is, like in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu or Supreme Lord Krishna himself, they are Paravastha forms. So about these Paravastha forms also we are going to discuss in the next chapter. Next chapter is a whole chapter is dedicated to Paravastha and Swayam Bhagavan. So very, very long chapter. It has got very long, I think is more than almost more than 200, 297, 300, 390, 400, 500. More than 500 slokas are there in next chapter. That is the longest chapter in this 540, 539, 540 slokas are there in this Paravastha and Swayam Bhagavan. So we'll discuss more about Paravastha and Swayam Bhagavan in the next chapter, because the whole chapter 540 slokas are dedicated only for that. So we'll not talk much about that. But for now we understand that these are the 6 incarnations of the Lord which are under Vaibhava Vilasa. They are almost equal. They are not exactly same, but they are almost equal to the Paravastha form. So that is mentioned in verse 51. So in verse 57, if you see carefully, what is mentioned here, among the Vaibhava Avastha incarnation, the following 6 are considered almost equal to the Lord in Para Avastha forms. So what is mentioned here is Lord Bor and Hayagriva, who are mentioned among the 9 Vyuhas, plus the 4 greatest Manvantara avatars. So what is this 9 Vyuhas? So somebody may get this doubt. So author has explained in the purport that these 6 of the 21 Vaibhava avatars are especially potent and glorious. The 9 Vyuha expansions are listed here. The 9 personalities mentioned are the 4 beginning with Vasudeva, means the first Chaturvyuha expansion, Vasudeva, Sankarsana, Pradyumna, Aniruddha, and also Narayana, Nrsimha, Hayagriva, the Great Boar, and Brahma. So these are the 9 Vyuhas. 9 Vyuha, when it's mentioned among the 9 Vyuhas, the 9 Vyuhas, 9 great personalities mentioned in the scriptures are the first Chaturvyuha 4, Adi Chaturvyuha, that is Vasudeva, Sankarsana, Pradyumna, and Aniruddha. And next 4th place, Narayana, Nrsimhadeva, Hayagriva, the Great Boar, Paravatara, and Brahma. Surprisingly, Brahma is finding a place in this 9 Vyuha expansions. So this particular Brahma is considered as not as a Jiva, but when there is no qualified Jiva to represent, to take the position of Brahma, the Lord expands as a Brahma. That particular time, that Brahma is also considered as one of 9 Vyuhas, means one of 9 great personalities. So here the Vyuhas, meaning of Vyuhas here is the great personalities. They include the Adi Chaturvyuha plus these 5, who are Narayana, Nrsimha, Hayagriva, Varaha, and Brahma. So this is about Prabhava Vilasa and Vaibhava Vilasa expansions. So here author is further mentioning that in his instructions to Sanatana Goswami, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu described the Prabhava and Vaibhava divisions of his original Swayam Rupa, Prabhava Prakasha and Vaibhava Prakasha, and his Vilasa expansions, Prabhava Vilasa and Vaibhava Vilasa. The expansions of Krishna, Swayam Rupa and Vilasa forms is recorded in Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela. So this we are going to discuss again when we come to Madhya Leela of Chaitanya Charitamrita. So with this, today's discussion ends. So if you have any questions, we can take for a few minutes. We have 15 minutes time.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji.
Pranams, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, you were mentioning that when the Kali Yuga, in the particular Kali Yuga, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes, that is, his color is yellow.
Yes.
But other Kali Yuga, other avatars, which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is not coming, you are mentioning that Lord is in blackish color. Correct, Prabhuji?
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
So we have to understand which particular yuga Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is coming. That is the golden period, and Lord is incarnating. Means Swayam Rupa is incarnating like that. Correct, Prabhuji?
Exactly. Yes, exactly.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Otherwise, all other Kali Yugas, the Lord, the Dwapara Yuga, before that particular Kali Yuga, Krishna is not coming on his own. And the next Kali Yuga, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is not coming. Some other incarnation of the Lord, which is simply a Yuga Avatara, nothing more than Yuga Avatara, who comes in a black complexion. It can be anything. Somebody may ask a question, who is that black incarnation? It can be anything. Any personality can come in that black color form, because Yuga Avatara, if you see in every Yuga, the Lord may come in different forms, but that particular color. Like in Satya Yuga, he comes as sometimes he comes as a Kapila Deva, sometimes he comes as a Hamsa. So
Hamsa.
Hamsa also, but purpose of Yuga Avatara is to is dedicated for Yuga Dharma. So to propagate Yuga Dharma, that particular Yuga Avatara comes. Like in Satya Yuga, when Lord Kapila Deva comes, he teaches about austerity, performing meditation. So he teaches about that. So like even Hamsa also teaches, Kapila Deva also teaches. So likewise in Kali Yuga also, when Lord comes in blackish form, that particular Yuga Dharma is being taught by that particular incarnation, particular Yuga Avatara. But when Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes, that incarnation will not come, but that is coincided. It unites with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That's what
Mahaprabhu. Yes. As Prabhuji, if the other yugas, if Lord is coming in blackish also, but that is also called hidden avatara only.
No,
Is it
not necessarily. No,
okay.
That is not hidden avatara.
Okay.
Hidden avatara is only Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Okay. Okay, bro. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's that he is not coming in black form. He is coming only in yellow Pita Varna. So,
okay.
And with so many reasons mentioned in the scriptures, Lord is hiding himself from exhibiting the his supremacy, his quality.
Oh, yes, Prabhuji. Okay, Prabhuji. Clear, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Any questions? Hare Krishna.
First day this class, but some
Prabhu,
questions
voice is breaking, Prabhu.
Yeah,
Voice is breaking. I can't hear. Hare Krishna. Voice is breaking. I can't hear. Can others hear Prabhu's voice?
No, no.
No, it was breaking.
Shrisha Prabhu, the voice is breaking.
I think Prabhu has posted a question. When Brahmaji theft Gopas and cows, Lord expanded what category we can understand? The Prabhu is asking the same
internet,
question. I think Prabhu left.
No, he got disconnected. 2-3 times he got disconnected in between. He will join.
Yeah, he joined again.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandat Pranam. Now is okay,
Prabhu,
audible?
Now it is audible, Prabhu.
Sorry, Prabhuji. It was my first day to attend, but the questions are not right to put, but I have doubts, so I asked that. When you said about the Lord expanded in the form of, when in Ras Leela, he expanded a number of forms, but he was the original supreme personality. Also, when with the queens of Dwarka also, But how to understand when Lord expands as the gopas and cows? So what we'll understand about that? That was my question.
No, they are not any incarnations. They are the Lord Himself. He is expanding, and they are also called Prakasha expansions only. They are also Prakasha expansions because Lord is not taking a different body or different form. So they are Lord Himself, like how He is expanding into different forms when Rasa dance is going on. Same way He expands into cows and gopas. So He expands, but He changes the form.
Features.
That's all. Feature, yeah. But they are Prakasha expansions.
Okay.
They
Also,
are
as we
not
said,
Vaibhava, they are not Vilasa expansions. They are Prakasha expansions. Prakasha expansions are exactly the Lord Himself. And whereas the Vilasa expansions are Lord is there and He is taking a different form. He is incarnating in a different form. But here in this case, they are Lord is the same. The cows and the gopas, they are the same as Lord.
thank you, Vijay. Also, one more question, Guruji. As we said, the Lord comes when Chaitanya, as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, He comes in yellow form. So this happens one in the day of Brahma.
No, not in every day of Brahma.
Okay.
One of Kali Yugas in the day of Brahma. Can someone tell how many Kali Yugas are there in one day of Brahma?
71 cycles are there. Kali Yuga cycles.
Can someone add? Mataji?
Yeah, 1,000 Kali Yugas.
Yeah, 1,000 Divya Yugas. So it means 1,000 Kali Yugas are there. So one of the 1,000 is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Means in one day of Brahmas, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes one time only.
Right.
Yes.
Exactly.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Prabhu, like, what about the four-hand form of Narayana? He comes in a Vaibhava Prakasha.
Four-handed form of the Lord is, if you remember the initial presentation, let me open that. One second, Mataji. I think it is in lesson 2. Yes, Mataji, he comes under Vilasa expansions only. He comes under Vilasa expansions and he is Vaibhava Vilasa.
Vaibhava Vilasa, Prabhu?
Yeah, yes. Not Prakasha. He's not Prakasha form.
Vaibhava Prakasha, as you said.
Not Prakasha, Vilasa.
Yeah, but in the Vaibhava Prakasha, the explanation is like different emotions and bodily features.
Yes.
So, but four-handed form of Narayana doesn't come under Vaibhava Prakasha.
No, he's not Prakasha form. He's not a because you see, even Chaturvyuha expansions also not Vaibhava Prakasha. They are also coming under Vilasa expansions. So after first Chaturvyuha, only Narayana comes.
Hmm.
So the Narayana falls under category of Vilasa expansions,
Okay.
not under Vaibhava,
Prakash.
not under Prakasha form.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandatpranam Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yeah. Prabhuji, just wanted to check, we were just reading Bhagavatam, in that it is mentioned that there are million Narayanas. So Narayana is only one, or there are so many planets in Vaikuntha? So Narayana is innumerable Narayanas are there in Vaikuntha.
Prabhu, here we have to understand, when you say Narayana, Narayana is indicated as expansions of the Lord. So Narayana, there is one supreme Narayana in Vaikuntha planets. So that is the 400 Narayana form. And there are so many other millions of abodes. They're all considered as Narayanas only. They're all considered Narayanas only. But there is the king of Vaikuntha planet is only one Narayana. That is the Narayana who is with his consort Lakshmi Devi. If you remember that Goloka chart explanation, that seminar, so we
Yes,
explained, we discussed that there is one Vaikuntha, one particular Vaikuntha planet where Lord Narayana is residing along with Mother Lakshmi. But there are so many innumerable Vaikuntha planets. By default, all of them are considered as Narayanas only. Even Narayana is a word used sometimes even for the Krishna also, because he is original Narayana. So Narayana means what? He is one who is from whom all the living entities take shelter of that personality. He is Narayana. So he can be any expansion of the Lord, any incarnation of the Lord, as long as it is not a temporary expansion, any temporary incarnation. They can be considered as Narayanas. All of them have abodes in Vaikuntha planets. That's why it is called that there are millions of Narayanas. Means millions of expansions of the Lord, and all of them have the abodes in Vaikuntha planet.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
And all these millions of Narayanas come under Vilasa expansions.
Yeah, bro, all of them are Vilasa expansions. Either Prabhava Vilasa or Vaibhava Vilasa, but all of them are Vilasa expansions.
But does it happen? It means that Prabhava expansions are only in Goloka or something like that?
It can be expansion also, it can be incarnation also. Expansion means he can be in the spiritual world. Incarnation means he can come from spiritual world to material world.
So any any chart or any thing to just to remember how to remember this. Okay, it's very difficult to remember first of all, and then segregation is there. Is there any?
No, I suggest you see there is a video. You are in the group, Prabhu? Are you in the group?
No problem. This is the first day I joined.
Bhagavatamrta, you can add Prabhuji in the group. I don't know from who has referred to.
Yeah, Bhagavatamrta only referred. Prabhuji, I think you might be remembering me.
Okay, Prabhuji.
I met you once in your home. I came there to meet you at that time when I was in Muscat. I don't know.
Now where are you, Prabhu?
Prabhuji, I left Muscat. Now I am from Pune basically. Now I'm in Surat now. I settled in Surat.
Okay. Maybe if I see your face, I can remember. Now you are switching off your video.
No, nothing like that.
Jai. Yes, bro. Now I can remember. I can recollect. Oh, Mataji will add you in the group. What I will do is I'll post that Goloka seminar video. That there is a recording is there. If you see that there, a chart is there and complete explanation is there. So you will find everything.
Okay.
I'll post that recording. We can see it is a bit longer session, but you will have all the details.
Okay. Thank you.
And also, if possible, you try to read the book Easy Journey to Goloka. There also it is a detailed explanation is given.
Okay, Guruji, sure. I know written by you, na Guruji. Yes, yes, yeah.
So that book also it covers a complete explanation of Goloka and Vaikuntha planets, and the whole structure is given in a story form. It is.
Sure, Guruji.
Okay. Thank you, bro. Right. Mother Mataji, can we end the session if we don't have any other questions?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu. I do not have any question.